This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Good morning, gamers! Hope you're looking and feeling as fabulous as this fan-made Aloy is. Geez, Twitter really had a field day with that one. This is This Week in Videogames, the show that's perfectly explained by the title. I'm your host, Shillup. Let's talk about some gaming news. You know what? Actually, maybe Horizon's a good place to start. This week, Sony showed off around 20 minutes of gameplay for Horizon Forbidden West. Roll it, Austin. I don't really have any specific news to share about this game other than I think it looks awesome. Horizon Zero Dawn was on my Game of the Year last year since I finally got around to playing the PC port, and I think this new one looks amazing. Plus, it has a grapple hook and a glider, so it's already on its way to being a Game of the Year contender. Speaking of upcoming Sony releases, did you know that Uncharted 4 is coming to PC? It's one of two examples we have this week of very unceremonious game announcements, since this one comes courtesy of a PowerPoint deck to investors, and if you scan through every panel on every page, eventually you'd see this tiny little Uncharted 4 logo sitting right there under more releases planned for PC. As disappointing as the form of this announcement might be, the news is very welcome indeed, since the Uncharted series is an absolute classic, and it's nice to know that PC players will be able to experience at least one entry for the first time. Really love to see Sony investing more and more in PC ports. Keep it up, Jim. What's that? You think I'm a Sony pony? Well, allow me to do some Sony roasting to set your mind at ease. This week, Gearbox CEO and amateur magician who'll make your bonus disappear, Randy Pitchford, tweeted out something pretty juicy. Quote, "Good news or bad news first? Good news. An update for Borderlands 3 has been prepared for release that includes full crossplay support across all platforms. Bad news. For certification, we've been required by the publisher to remove crossplay support for PlayStation consoles." What he's referring to is the fact that PlayStation are currently the only platform that will charge publishers for enabling crossplay in their games, a detail that was exposed during the recent Apple vs. Epic litigation. As a result, 2K obviously don't want to foot the bill. A lot of people are blaming 2K for this, like 2K are being stingy, but that's ridiculous. This is Sony's bullshit mess that they've created, and as it stands right now, Sony is the biggest hurdle to widespread adoption of crossplay across all games and platforms. That's not a 2K problem, it's a Sony problem, and it needs to change. That's not Sony's only problem. Their arcade smash 'em up Destruction All-Stars announced this week that they would be adding bots to games to fill spots left by low player populations. Destruction All-Stars released to middling reviews just a few short months ago, and while it had big plans for new content and a seasonal model, it was pretty clear that this title wasn't going to be the next Fall Guys. I can't imagine how this thing would have landed had Sony went ahead with their original plan of charging $70 for this. Yikes. Speaking of yikes, CD Projekt Red. This week we got a whole bunch of information about how the company is doing in the wake of the Cyberpunk disaster and what they're planning to do to fix it. First up, we got word that CD Projekt Red missed their Q1 profit target by a whopping 64.7%, obviously attributable to the fact that Cyberpunk is still not fully fixed. CD Projekt Red would like to remind you that they are making progress towards that goal though, and to illustrate the point, they put together this handy graph showcasing stability improvements delivered by every patch. The best part is that this graph has no axis, so we have absolutely no idea what this means. I got you covered though. I got hold of a leaked version of the graph that does have axis labeled, and as you can see here, Cyberpunk has made considerable improvement, moving from all of the crashes here down to most of the crashes here. Big success for the team. For what it's worth, CD Projekt Red are still pleading with Sony to get Cyberpunk back on the PSN, but Sony aren't having a bar of it, refusing to relist the game. We don't know the specifics as to why this is the case, but many guess it's a form of retribution for CD Projekt Red unilaterally announcing a refund scheme that saw all platforms, including PlayStation, inundated with refund requests that were essentially against PlayStation's refund terms. Topping all of this off, Cyberpunk got a new game director this week after the last one left the company. Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz announced his departure this week after 12 years with the company. I'm not sure if he's related to the other Tomaszkiewicz who left recently. He was the Witcher 3's director. They both have the same last name. That would be a hell of a coincidence. Anyway, I don't know. He will be succeeded by Gabriel Amatangelo, who has inherited what has got to be one of the worst jobs in all of video games right now. Good luck, my dude. If you were looking forward to BlizzCon 2021 for some reason, then bad news, it's been cancelled. Blizzard put out a very blue press release explaining that due to the pandemic, planning an event like BlizzCon is just a little too risky and they'll be holding a digital event next year. Fair enough, the pandemic is a reasonable excuse, but it's also probably a welcome delay for Blizzard's development teams, who right now are toiling away on their next slate of titles, all the while reminding us that they aren't remotely close to completion. A few extra months up their sleeve might mean we get to see more of these titles than we otherwise would have had BlizzCon gone ahead at the usual time. While you wait for Overwatch 2, might I interest you in a new Nintendo Switch? This week, Bloomberg added more detail to the rumors of the upcoming upgrade for the Nintendo Switch, saying the new Pro model will sell for $299 US. It'll replace the old Switch in retail, and it's likely to be released sometime between September and October of this year. If the rumors are to be believed, this bad boy is going to be revealed in the next 10 days or so that publishers and developers can showcase upcoming games for the new model at the all-digital E3 starting on around June 12th. If you thought that news was crazy, then get this. It turns out Valve are working on their own handheld to compete with the Nintendo Switch, just to exist, just to be a handheld that you can play PC games on the go. That's nuts. This is not a made-up story. Ars Technica this week confirmed information pulled from Steam's code that hinted at a new controller with specific games attached to it. Turns out it wasn't a controller at all, but rather a handheld PC. Details are scarce, but reports indicate it will have a D-pad, it will be larger than the Switch, and it will support both handheld and docking mode. This is totally wild and definitely brings back some memories about Steam's ill-fated controller and their Steam machines, which never really got off the ground. Hopefully this new foray into the hardware market has more success than Valve's previous efforts. So, what got announced or delayed this week? Well, a hell of a lot, to be honest, so buckle up. First up, there was a Sonic showcase this week celebrating the legacy of the Sonic franchise and talking about its future. The well-received 2011 Wii exclusive Sonic Colors is coming back, only this time it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and the Epic Game Store on September 7th. More exciting is the reveal that Sonic Team are working on a next-gen Sonic game. We know nothing about it at all except it stars Sonic, hopefully, and Sonic will be voiced by Roger Craig Smith, which is good news because it looked like Sega was planning on recasting the role for a while. Big relief there. In addition to the Sonic showcase, we also got a Dragon Quest showcase this week, and 4 new titles were announced. The big ticket item was the reveal of Dragon Quest XII Flames of Fate, the next numbered entry in the franchise. No details about this one yet, other than it's very early in development, so don't expect it soon, and the developers also hinted that this is likely to be a more adult game than anything before it in the franchise, similar to what Square are doing with Final Fantasy XVI this time around. In addition, they announced Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, Dragon Quest Treasures, which is a spin-off prequel to Dragon Age 11, and Dragon Quest Kishi Kishi, which is a mobile game. No release dates for any of this stuff yet, but it's all on the way. Dying Light 2 got a release date, if you can believe it. The sequel has been mired in more than little controversy, owing to some substantial delays as well as expose reporting alleging that developer Techland Games is a bit of a schmozzle at the moment. Anyway, Dying Light 2 is hitting PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on December 7th. We got our first look at Far Cry 6's gameplay this week as well, and it's looking pretty fun. I know a lot of people turn their nose up at the formulaic repetition of Far Cry games, and you're right. Being kidnapped 9 times in a single campaign feels a little excessive, but I've always just enjoyed the Far Cry games as big, dumb explosion simulators, and this new one is looking particularly explosion-y, so I'm excited. It's arriving on Xbox, PlayStation, Uplay, and the Epic Game Store on October 7th. Publisher 505 Games has rather unceremoniously revealed the existence of a sequel to fan favorite Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. The news came as part of a financial results briefing, where 505 were crowing about the success of the original before noting, quote, "sequel currently in development." I mean, personally, if I was making a sequel to one of the best Metroidvanias in recent memory, I'd want a little more fanfare in the reveal announcement than a bullet point in a slide deck put together by accountants, but that's just me. Hopefully we'll get a more worthy reveal come E3 this year. Pokemon Dazzling Diamond and Sparkling Pearl. Not the actual names, but who cares. The re-releases of the classic entries got a release date November 19th, exclusive to the Switch, of course. I don't know if you'd call this a remake or a remaster, I don't know, but it's got a release date, so there you go. The biggest reveal of this week is one so big that if you were to host the Game Awards, you would put this reveal at the very end of the show and get the stars of this game to award Game of the Year. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, There is a new Fast and the Furious game on the way. Let's go. It's called Fast and the Furious Spy Racers of Shifter, and Shifter is spelled SH1FT3R. And stuff is always cooler when you spell it with numbers, so that's why I'm rebranding to SK177UP. Please like and subscribe. Anyway, this game comes out in November at some point. Please don't buy it. So, what came out last week? Well, Graven suddenly hit early access. It's a spiritual successor to cult classic Hexen, only it seems like it still has a way to go before it really hits its stride. It's currently sitting at 65% positive on Steam, with a lot of reviews commenting that there just isn't much going on in-game, with less content than what fans were expecting, and the content that is there, it's kind of boring. Looks like this one has a long way to go before it hits its 1.0. King of Seas also arrived. We discussed that one last week. Sadly, it didn't go down too well, as it's currently sitting at around 60% positive on Steam. Many reviews commented that the game was a little too simplistic and far too grindy, with more than a few reviewers suggesting that Sid Meier's Pirates did the concept way better. Bit of a shame. One game that just got through its review cycle and releases today is Necromunda Hired Gun. Now, this one is sitting at around 59 on Metacritic at the time of writing, which is not great, but reviews are going up right now, so I expect that score will change. Either way, it's definitely a mixed bag here. PC Games N scored at 60, saying, quote, "Ultimately, Hired Gun falls into a pitfall all too common to Warhammer adaptations, that of only ever feeling skin deep," end quote. Warhammer Games enthusiast and all-round excellent reviewer Mandalore Gaming reviewed the title, and he liked it. Here's a quote from his review.
"Franchise aside, I had a lot of fun with Necromunda. It's a good FPS with a lot of creativity, and the only thing that worries me about it is the polish."
I reviewed the title as well, and I enjoyed it despite its many issues in both the technical and design departments. If you're okay with a fair amount of jank, I do recommend it to you. I'll leave a link to my review in the description below. So, what's coming out this week? Well, a lot of stuff, actually. This episode is really packed. Okay, first up, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection arrives today on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. It's a new game in the Ghosts and Goblins franchise, which is a big deal because there hasn't been one for long-ass time. I played the shit out of this stuff back in the day, so it's nice to see the franchise is still kicking. Elder Scrolls Online fans get their Blackwood expansion today. I've only played this game briefly and I didn't love it, but I know a lot of people do. It's been a very enduring feature of the MMO landscape since its rocky launch. ESO fans, hope you love this one. I essentially failed university as a result of the next game. World of Warcraft's classic Burning Crusade expansion is being released today. Many argue that Wrath of the Lich King was WoW's golden age, but I disagree. I think Wrath of the Lich King was WoW's natural conclusion, but the Burning Crusade, that shit was golden. Karazhan, Serpent Shrine Cavern, the Black Temple, Sunwell. I can't believe a single expansion had all that greatness. Anyway, if you have time to go back to this, know that I wish I could be there with you, but alas, IRL's a bitch. Here's a surprise, Watch Dogs Legion is getting a zombie mode update today. It's very similar to the Division's survival mode, except it's entirely PvE. You get dropped on the map in London with up to 3 other players, and you need to scrounge for resources and upgrades as you make your way towards the extraction point. That sounds fun, and it's weird that this is the first we've heard of it. Deck builder roguelike Grifflands arrives today in 1.0 on Steam, and on the 4th for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. It follows a lengthy early access period that got great feedback. It's currently sitting at 92% very positive on Steam, so definitely one to check out if you're keen on stuff like Slay the Spire. Operation Tango is releasing today on Xbox, PC, PS4, and its PS5 version is being made available to all PS Plus subscribers. I had not heard anything about this title, and having watched the trailers for it, it's still not entirely clear to me what it is. From what I can tell, it's a co-op hacking game where one person is on the ground doing the heist thing, and then there's the guy in the chair hacking the mainframe while wearing sweatpants in the comfort of his bedroom. So kind of like Tom Holland's Spider-Man and his sidekick, only without all the spider stuff. And finally, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 arrives on the 4th for PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PS4. The PS5 version, though, it got a last-minute delay due to some unspecified technical issues. No release date has been announced yet, but hopefully it's soon. Put this on your radar. I'm not giving up on pirate games, man. Just because King of Seas let us down this week doesn't mean that this one will too. This is Black Skylands, and I think it's got a whole lot going for it. It has a great art style. It allows you to build and customize your pirate ship. You can fly it around and shoot other pirate ships, or just poor defenseless buildings if you like. And you can even get out of your pirate ship, and the game becomes a sort of twin stick like bullet hell shooter thing, like Enter the Gungeon, but with pirates. I like the look of this. It's ticking a lot of boxes for me. It's out in early access on June 11th, but if you're interested, there's a playtest you can jump into right now. I'll leave a link to its Steam page in the description below. Sort of free stuff time, and like every other section this week, it's packed. Let's get started. First of all, Epic's free game is Among Us, so if you aren't already sick of hearing about this game, you can download it for free until the 3rd of June. You could also download it for free on your phone, but whatever, PC works too. Last week we mentioned that Knockout City was coming to Game Pass as a day one release, and it was offering a 10-day free trial to anyone wanting to pick it up. Well, EA are really desperate to pump prime this one, it seems, because this week they announced that anyone will be able to play for free until they hit rank 25, at which point they'll need to purchase the game. This looks like it might be a permanent thing as well, so that's nice. I keep hearing great things about this title, everyone seems to be loving it, so hopefully it continues to hold an audience. We got our monthly PS Plus refresh this week. We've already spoken about the PS5 game Operation Tango, so that's that. In addition, we're getting two bangers. First up, Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. This is a remaster of the 2005 arcade classic that sports updated visuals, particularly when it comes to backgrounds, but it still keeps the original sound effects, which have not aged particularly well. Rounding out PS Plus for the month is the absolutely superb Star Wars Squadrons. This is a strong recommend in general, but if you have a VR headset and a flight stick, then goddamn, this is some of the best Star Wars fun you can have outside of the Christmas special. Huh? What's that sound? Oh my god, it's here! Games with Gold! Promising over $76 in value. Now look, I could make some jokes about this lineup of games, but to be honest, the comment section of the video announcing this lineup does a way better job. Quote, "Ah yes, our monthly dose of sadness. Maybe it was $76 in value 5 years ago when these games came out." John B says, "Can't wait to download 0 of them." While I think Noelle sums it up pretty well when she says, "Boo." Thumbs down emoji. While Microsoft might have let us down this week, you know who hasn't? Nintendo. This week, as part of the ongoing litigation between Apple and Epic, it was revealed that Nintendo had some very specific guidelines for who they would and would not work with. Spotted by Steven Totillo of Axios Gaming, it turns out Nintendo won't partner with any organizations deemed to be anti-social forces or Boryokudan, there we go, which essentially translates to Yakuza. Nintendo specifically says that they won't work with any groups that use threats or violence in connection with transactions. My question is, what the hell happened to lead Nintendo to have to make these sorts of guidelines in the first place? I mean, you don't see most companies issuing statements reminding people that being a gangster isn't part of their corporate values. As admirable as this position is, I do think it has one big downside. I don't think we're ever going to see Kiryu or Kasuga in Smash. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the week in video games. If you had a good time, do your boy a solid and hit the like button. If you'd like to come back sometime, then please do hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell so that you too can never be notified about my videos, because YouTube's notification system is total trash. Thank you for watching, and a very big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring the video. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Now, they are the single best place to go to if you want to build your own custom website. Building websites used to be really hard with lots of tricky tools. You need to hire people and administrators and whatever else, and thousands of dollars. Not anymore. Now with Squarespace, you just create an account, you can log in, begin customizing one of their dozens of award-winning templates, and within minutes you have a professional looking website. They also have more advanced tools like SEO optimization, increasing your chances of being found online. They have things like calendars so you can schedule events. Heaps of stuff that just make it very easy to build your business or your community or just share your interests with the world. To get started, visit squarespace.com, and when you're ready to get serious, visit squarespace.com/skillup for a 10% discount on your first purchase of a website or a domain name. Thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching it. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.